All right, here we go again. Buckle up. So here's an example in my mind. I couldn't even think to drink chamomile. I actually put it in my mind that I would drink chamomile because it calms my stomach down. Couldn't think of it last night. I was just searching the world for something to use. They're devils, man. You got to take them out. You can't let them stalk people. Right. Now, the Beano didn't work. Usually the Beano works within a couple hours, but it didn't work this time. Right. I can usually lay there. Like if I schedule a midnight doctor's appointment or something, I can just lay there and I'll end up canceling the appointment because it'll go away before. Right. Well, I was just going to talk to the doctor. Something maybe I'm missing. I know what it is. It's a form of gastritis, probably. Right. So without the stress, it wouldn't have pushed it over the edge. Right. So again, yeah, as a seer, I would say for the Palestinian people, for the a quality of life, they should do it. Because they're just son of a bitches. They set you up. They'll pay for it in hell. Right. Actually, Saudi Arabia, I don't know why Saudi Arabia doesn't pay me. I guess they don't know the information came from me, maybe. Right. I mean, there might be a CIA contractor that, stalks me and takes my information and gives it to foreign countries and they think it's them. Right. Look at Larry. I mean, they embarked on the plan I told them to do, to fix their country. They're also doing biospheres. That's my stuff. Well, they're expanding into, I think, agriculture and other things, right? Just in case all the electric, it becomes electric or nuclear or whatever it is. Now, China has figured something out, the power of the sun, they were saying. So that's something I was speaking about years ago. Right? Well, I understand some people would have paid me if they didn't block them from, everybody knew if they paid me, they'd be over. Right. And that would include the force of the CIA. That's how shitty it is. So I forgot that I can try the chamomile it slows the stomach down. Now I could have took the other stuff, but I wanted to talk to the doctor and I just never got around to it. And I did sleep a little bit, right? But not really sufficient, right? And it's just, it's when they curse you, your mind gets blinded. I forget what it's called, but it's that stomach stuff. But I don't know if it would work because the last thing I want to do is get drowsy and have this thing. I'm already tired. And if I take the, Odantistan or something, I forget what it's called. If I take that and I get drowsy, it'd be horrible, right? No, because the gas goes up in my chest, and it interferes with breathing at that point. So again, that would be something like apnea, but I can control it by not having this happen, right? And again, I'm taking medicine, so it's a combination of everything. But if they were out of my life, this wouldn't be happening. Believe me, I'd have. And again, get me my money. You all owe me, and everything will pick up. So I don't know, as far as our budget and all that, and how they're trying to trim the budget, how Trump would finance all this housing. Maybe the Jews will pay some. Again, we shouldn't be paying. I guess Israel should be paying, right? So again, I think for the good of the next generation of Palestinians. Because, I mean, you saw how fast they erased half of the next generation at least, right? I think you should just move on. But I would demand a real place to live. Not filtering in with other communities. I mean, unless you want to, but a city of your own in each one of these countries, at least in Egypt and Jordan. But I would even ask, I mean, if you set them on that course, then do you become responsible, like Queen Rania, do you then become responsible for the next children that were killed, or somewhat responsible, if there's a way out for them? But I would say, I don't know what Jordan looks like. I'm sure there's some open land. You should require to build a city for these people, right? If they want them to move. Well, I don't know who all would fund it, but right. And then they have a future. Thank you, Larry. Well, see, this is what happened last time when I started trying to do my massages. I got sick like this, right? So it's very difficult to make it to the massages. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to heal of everything else and then go back to massage, right? So again, they hit me with something. They probably messed up my stomach, and it's just taking a while to heal. And again, when they stress you out, like they'll hit you with something that screws up your stomach, right? Something physical. So then they'll just keep stressing you out, and it's hard for it to heal. They were in here. Don't forget that. Thank you much. So even if these aren't the perfect shoes, these are better than what I was wearing, I think. Right. So we need to make sure the Palestinians are taken care of, and probably the only way to do it is for them to leave. But again, that has to be financed. You're not going to go live in refugee tents. Right. And you're not going to live in FEMA prefab homes or anything like that. Right. Something solid that will last the test of time. Like your friend. God bless you. No, it's not the same plan you all have. You all know you got side deals. Right. My reasoning is clean. Right. They'll try to lump me in with all of you. If you give me $1 million, maybe I'd like to do that. You know how it works. Don't play ignorant. I mean, you paid millions to have me killed, right? Or at least try. No, I mean, what I'm telling you, we're not. I told you, I warned you about developing this world where people don't speak out, or afraid to speak their mind, because you got people around you, like the agents and officers, that aren't going to say anything, and they're like, "Oh, okay," they're going to get you. When you least expect it, expect it. I mean, I'm telling you right now, if it keeps going this direction, it'll flip in 2 years. That starts it. Right. Now, if they get the Senate and the House, you can just wave goodbye. I guess it wouldn't be enough to impeach, though. Right. Actually, you know what? I don't even know if they could impeach judges. It's pretty close in the House, isn't it? Or am I confused? I really didn't look at it. But again, I think we're looking at the judiciary spanking. And I think we're going to see the judiciary stand up and rule more than they've ever ruled in administration in the history of the country, unless you all change back. Again, you have to stop what's going on. I know the old thing, Donald's being Donald, but he should have just announced that maybe we should move them out of there, give them wonderful places to live, and that's it. Right? This idea where the United States is going to own a chunk of Israel, it doesn't make any sense. Right? And we pulled out of Lebanon for a reason, because we want to be part of that shit. Right. Right. So again, you're actually violating yourself, and you can take that whatever way you want. Well, because you're against that kind of thing, right? But maybe it's a consolation prize because we can't get Greenland. I mean, get off it. You got that same sickness Putin has. We got to be bigger. China has it. Thanks, Larry. That's like every time Israel has a war, we go to war and our soldiers are on the ground. I mean, right. 100%. But I think, it's doable if the right negotiations take place. And again, Saudi Arabia doesn't lose face as long as you give them what they feel is or give everyone what is appropriate back. Now, you may not get your $6 billion worth of investment. Just send me $1 million. You owe me. I don't even know if anybody hears me, really. Could just be like 5 agents getting rich off of this. Right. Even if somebody says that they know it's happening, if I don't get any money, it's obvious that maybe nobody knows. They just tell them to say things to make it look that way. Right. I mean, this is what they've done in my life. I'm not crazy. They put me in a prisoner of war camp. They're disgusting pigs. And their end will be in hell. Like I was telling you with the mass shooters, we don't catch them because they're probably hidden until after they commit the crime. Right. They create mass shooters, man. They think it's funny. They get off on it. Big surge of adrenaline, sexual prowess. I'm sure of it. You should have stayed away yesterday. I mean, it's just horrible. What we're seeing in the news from the president and his people is horrible. And Democrats are probably laughing. They're probably pissed off, but they're probably laughing. Because they didn't expect it to be this easy. Right. I mean, they figured Trump wouldn't make good on the promises, but not go 180 degrees, right? In like less than a month, is it? What's the date? Yeah, it's less than a month. I mean, that's the idea. You could have waited. Like even the firings. I mean, it's like insane. Because it is what I'm saying it is. It's retaliation. It's illegal. The court's going to spank us. I mean, you're not doing yourselves a favor by doing it. In fact, you made a lot of enemies. Like you probably have maybe 100 tops of agents that you're gonna make their day, and you think you can carry the agencies with that because you're gonna rule with an iron fist. You're gonna be in court with flailing your arms, right? Yeah, you probably had 10, like 100, or not 10, you probably have 100 agents or so politically connected. Right? They made deals, correct, and they think that's how it's going to work. Potentially spying on their agencies. Right. It happens all the time. I mean, that's situation normal. Right. Thank you, Larry. Thank you. Well, I can only agree with what I can agree with. I told you, I mean, I'm not on your payroll. I mean, you expect me to agree with you? You don't even stop the people attacking my life. Right. At least I got my cozy chamomile here. So the Lord's working now because I got to my mind and I found the chamomile and I'm putting a couple of those tea bags up for tonight. Made to be destroyed as soon as possible. Send me something from VA saying that I've been approved for 100% disability and it'll go better for everyone. But if you're gluttons for punishment, then that's what I think you all are. I really think you're all gluttons for punishment. Are you going to attack my life like Biden did and tell me that it's the Democrats? Well, he told me it was Republicans. I've never been up in all those years. Never been given a reprieve, nothing. And no, I haven't done anything to earn it. Thank you much. In fact, you owe me millions. In fact, the people that did this stole my stuff and made millions. Right. So they have a reason to do this to me. To try to kill me because, it's a felony what they did. Right. Just keep going, all of you. Just keep going. You see how stupid everybody is? No, there's no reason the president said anything other than I think the best chance for these people to survive is in another nation. We're going to discuss this and see, somebody, we'll get some funds together and build them nice properties. And, you have to build them a city is what you got to do. I mean, it's 2 million people. It's not like, even like 50,000 or something. Right. $2 million people are just not going to get up and go. They die there before they go, unless you change the paradigm. I'm your friend. If you keep going in this direction, it'll be even worse than it's going to be. Right. Well, I mean, for the Palestinian people, I don't see an answer other than leaving. And it really, part of it's Hamas and all that. If Hamas can be, a protective entity in the new country, right, in the new countries, but it just doesn't make sense because you're just going to fight to the death, and some more kids and women and children, they're all going to die. Right. Well, I just give it to God. Let God figure it out. They're not being blessed by having Jerusalem, believe me. Because remember, they don't believe in the New Testament, but you read the New Testament, there's a new Jerusalem that comes. Good. But it's not that Jerusalem. That's not the future of creation. God's already left that behind. And in fact, you have kind of a new Jerusalem. You have your Mecca. Right? But I'm not big on the real estate thing. Well, because I have this ark here. God indwells my ark. God is here with me. And I'm not in Jerusalem. I'm not in Mecca. I'm not in the Punjab. I'm not in on the Ganges River. Right. God speaks through me. Right there. It's over there. But that's my voice, actually. They curse it so it wouldn't sound like somebody else. Right. I walk and I say glasses. My glasses are right in front of me. Now this isn't every time. I know when God's not getting through. When God gets through, I say glasses. Like I'll just say, I'm looking for my glasses. And as soon as I say glasses are right in front of me. I mean, that's what God does to show he's around. Well, it's just the same idea with the immigrants. We have to get that number down to a certain number before they're going to have a safe life here. Again, as far as El Salvador housing our prisoners, you can't probably send them anywhere outside CONUS. I doubt that you could. Right. U.S. citizens especially. Right. Well, the judges maintain a vigil for cruel and unusual punishment, right, and that type of thing, and it's just probably too difficult to inspect, right? And again, it'd be too easy to oppress, and that they wouldn't say anything. Like the judge could send an inspection team, and they won't say anything because they could be beaten over there, right? Well, I know you're saying it. Why it doesn't matter? Well, it's called the Constitution. So again, when you say that, you're not an American, all of you. When you believe in cruel and unusual punishment, then you're not an American because that's the Constitution. I told you this before. You fly the flag, but you're not Americans. And of course, that's all your heroes now are foreigners. And they tell us they're the patriots. But I told you years ago that you don't believe in the United States. You're just playing capture the flag. Well, what they might actually do, what I see them doing is they're going to tell Elon not to do something, the judiciary. He's going to do it, and they're going to lock him up. That's what I see. See, now the courts, see, you're not going to be able to hide from this stuff. Musk's enemy, USAID, was investigating Starlink over contracts in Ukraine. Right then and there, he has to move away. Court's going to spank you. Yeah, again, I didn't want to say anything. Like, I'm not saying everything against you, but if I see something I have to say, I'm going to say it. USPS reverses decision to halt China shipments. You don't want that. You're going to screw up everybody's money, right? Well, the poor people's money, right? But it'll cost rich, like people that own businesses and things like that do that also, right? So then they'll start charging everybody more money. The thing is, if you got people that have businesses, they inflate prices based upon having to pay inflated prices. Right? So that's how they handle it. Yeah, I said I'm not gonna. That's a little smaller. I said you'll deal with it. That maybe you heard me inside. I don't know what you're doing there, but no, you don't want to. You don't want to change that. You just want to fix the post office. Okay, they're corrupt, deep state. Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, that's how I like when you're on like Temu, when you're on Etsy, that's how they ship it, right? And that's a big deal, right? Right. Again, people like me, if I never did order because they were willing it down. I never got to it, but like if I want to order woodworking or something, I can't afford it. Like a nice for my because it was Ukraine, they told me not to do it because Ukraine and Russia were fighting, and the Lord wanted it to stop. They said you can't order the wood. Aaron Hukadash, the Torah Ark medallions and things because they do. There's a guy in Ukraine that does an amazing job. He's got the Aaronic priest hands. He's got a whole bunch of stuff that he does. Wood carving, real wood carving. But there's no way I could afford it. I mean, in the United States, it'd probably be like $1,000 from him. It'd probably be a few hundred, right? Thank you, Larry. Well, the conflict of interest is pretty big, and you should have found a different. Again, the idea is this: that you could hire contractors to try to make it look clean, and you're not doing that. People that have that are considered experts. You don't have to use the person that you fought with in USAID, I guess it was. But there's people that are contractors. They may even be MAGA, right? And I'm not telling them they should lie or anything, right? But you hire them and you bring them in, and then the agents will feel a little bit better because somebody's watching what you're all doing. Somebody that's vetted, has a background of clearance or had one, and it can be reinstated real quick, that kind of thing. Right. Yeah, you got to get rid of these tariffs. We can't afford it. The people are broke. That was the point. You're trying to get blood from a stone. Now they're going to rebel. Well, you're going to say, well, I got rid of, 10,000 immigrants or whatever the number is. I think they're going to look at you like, well, I didn't vote you in for that. There's only so many people who voted you in for that. The Arab community definitely didn't vote you in for that. And they're definitely not voting for a Republican, probably. I mean, even if they were Republican, they'll most likely vote against it. Right? To take Trump out of power. Right. Well, you put together a coalition, so you had this hybrid platform. But you came out of it thinking that everybody voted for MAGA, and they didn't. Right. But they would accept MAGA if you took care of their issue. Correct. Well, the whole thing looks like a setup. Even the war itself, it looks like it was false flag to me at this point. I mean, I said it before, but like the whole plan was just to take over the property. I mean, it's insane. I mean, you go to hell for that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm probably not going to be ordering from any of those places anytime soon. Well, if you wait for stuff from China, essentially you save like 15%. But now they're putting the kibosh on that, I guess. Now we'll see. Maybe they'll keep the prices down just to keep their business going. That's just nasty weather. Sure wish I stayed in Garland. But I still wasn't sure if it was like, weather related. Right. Yeah, I should just went back down to Texas instead of going to well, when I was cramped up, it's weird. When I was cramped up, I was always warm. Now that I'm relaxed, I'm colder. Right? Which makes sense if you think about it, right? Right. Thank you for what you're doing for us. Well, again, there's probably an alternative to Israel, living in Israel. Again, I wouldn't want to live around those people. If there was an option to get away from them, I would. I mean, it's unholy to live near people that kill children. Right. But again, that may have solidified their desire to stay because they lost so much. Right. So again, you just cut your nose off to spite your faces. Agreed. But it would be a new life and you wouldn't have to fight for your existence. You'd probably be treated with more respect. I mean, that's worth everything. That's why I move around trying to find that. I mean, if I could find that somewhere, I'd go there. All right. I mean, I'm a dissident. Right. United States has tons of dissidents. That's who some of those mass shooters are. They just kill them until they lose their mind and become a mass shooter. They've killed people through that program that they're running. Indirectly and probably some directly. You probably just should have stayed away from my life over there. That simple. Don't look at me, look at yourselves. I mean, it's a lot to take that deal, but maybe there's something that could be done. Just depends what they're offering. You know, I'm sure there's space everywhere. There's even space in the Sinai. Now, I don't know, you know, if they can live in the Sinai comfortably. Right. Which means it wouldn't be that far of a move. Right. But I would want to build a nice city. Thank you, Larry. So I think there's space. There might be space up near Mount Sinai. Maybe get you a city near Mount Sinai. You don't have to be in Jerusalem. You could be there at Mount Sinai with Moses. Right. Maybe that's the cue. Right. I got to look on the map. Now, again, you know, water and all that has to be available. Right. Again, it might require some. See, that's the other thing. You know, those countries are desert. It requires civil works projects, right? 100%. Mount Sinai, Egypt. Maps. Jabal Musa. Okay, there's some green down here. Oh, that's Catherine. Right. Oh, that's right. It's an oasis. Right. But it wouldn't sustain a city. Now, you know, with desalination plants, I don't know if this is all settled land or not. Over by the Gulf of Suez. Or over here, the Gulf of Aqaba. But you do desalination. There's land in Saudi Arabia for sure. Even, yeah, there's land in Jordan. But again, you know, water is the question. I mean, I don't know if they're going to leave. I mean, obviously they have a tie to Jerusalem. Well, if you force them out, you may not have a war today, but you'll have a war. Like if you forced them and they don't agree. And that war will be bigger than what you're, you know, it's not just going to be the Palestinians. Right. Again, you know, Hashem's already told me who the Jews are. It doesn't mean you wear a yarmulke or you're in a government or anything like that. Those people have been excommunicated, man. Killing the stranger, the widow. I can't tell you more about what I'm doing to investigate something. I just can't tell you because it'll give it away. Right. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Larry. They're pretty bold. So the investigations generally work. Well, I'm just telling you, I understand the problem, but, you know, for the future of those children, there's no future in Israel. I don't even think there's future for Israelis, like an honest future. Right? For Jews, I don't even think there's an honest Jew's future there. I mean, again, we read the scriptures about who's accepted by God and who's not. And again, we're all fallen people, and we all need atonement and salvation and all that, right? And that's from God. Again, the scriptures in the New Testament are very important for certain reasons. Again, it was supposed to be a form of Judaism, so it would have been Torah, and really a lot of it is, very acceptable. Even you couldn't, like, if I showed you a piece of it, you would think, well, where's that? Is that in the Mishnah? Is that in the Talmud? Where's that? All right. So it says faith is a gift of God, lest anyone boasts. So what it's saying is you're saved through faith. Your faith in God is where the atonement comes from, right? But faith is God. Like, we have no, again, you hear me say it every so often. I couldn't do this without God. I couldn't do that without God. The same thing about faith. So, like, when you're in a lot of Christians are in churches and they say, well, we've decided that, you didn't decide nothing. And it isn't straight up predestination, because God didn't predestinate, right? And it isn't choice either. It's just what's happening is unfolding, and God's trying to really end this planet. But it's just kind of bombastic. It's not one or the other. It's kind of a combination of both, but not really. Right? It would be closer to say you make the best choice available, right? And you're predestined to make that choice based upon being creation. So there is a possibility that everybody will be forgiven, but at this point, I don't see that, because you all made hell, right? You all created hell, and you're playing a game with it, or trying to. And you look over honest people, we're the church, we're the religion, and you're not really. I would still look at the churches. I believe preachers are being sexualized, and like youth group leaders, I believe they're being targeted, and maybe for conservative views. Thank you much. Thank you much. Cops also. So that Beck's online, I sympathize with what she says, and but for me, looking at her stuff, Antifa operative woman, I'm glad she puts it there. It needs to be seen. It helps me see these things, right? Because I don't have to like search forever for news articles about sex crimes that are effectuaed by clergy or the cops. So she's saying, well, you're all saying it's the what do they call it, the trans people and all that. It's not. It's the cops and the church. Which means there could be spells and stuff. I don't think she casts spells. At first, I thought maybe, but it doesn't seem like it. Right? Some people cast spells on cops and Christians to be sex offenders. But I believe there's also possibly a physical operation. Like Larry. Like I said, the greatest statement anyone ever made in the history of this country is, can't we all get along? Right. Right. You get along or it's over. Right. No, I never thought I'd be a single guy for the rest of my life. Never did. They made it happen, and that's that. I mean, they'll pay in hell. Well, this planet's not making them pay, that's for sure. Right. So I'm receiving the blip that I should call Amazon and